Welcome to the shop, guys. I'm starting a new build and I'd like for you to join me. On this episode, we will be collecting reference images and designing our build. Whee! Hey everyone, it's Bill Duran here from Punished Props. I have a new project coming up that I'm really excited about. I was commissioned by the famed cosplayer Jessica Nigri to build a mace and a shield from one of her favorite anime characters from the show Queen's Blade. I don't know, I haven't watched it myself, but I am really excited to build a giant spiked mace and a big honking shield. So anyway, as I was putting together the build ideas for this project, I decided that this would be a great opportunity for me to document my prop building process from beginning to end. I want this to be totally comprehensive, so you really get to know what it is that goes into building this kind of prop. So why don't you come follow along, and we'll start today by gathering a bunch of reference images and scaling those reference images so that we can draw up some really detailed and accurate schematics of the pieces that we will be building. Alright, so here I am where I start all of my projects at Google. Ta-da! And I'm just going to look up the character's name and the anime it is from. Usually what I'll do is I'll use the search tools from Google and change the size to large because I want the largest possible results that I can get to work from. This is a pretty good reference. It's not a complete picture of the mace, but it's got a lot of the details, and it has a pretty good reference of the shield that's something I can work from. So what I'll do is I'll go through the image results here, and I'll try and find as many references that give me a good representation of the shield and the mace. And then I can kind of figure out what they look like and try and use those to come up with a good picture of it. I talked with the person who commissioned me, and I asked her if she felt okay with me using this figurine as the main reference. And she said that was a good idea, which I'm pretty stoked about because then I have lots of pictures that are kind of like a turnaround of the character. What I'll do then is I'll go into Photoshop and I will scale the shield and the mace to the height of the character. In this case, the cosplayer is about 5'7". So what I did was I put a ruler into Photoshop and copy and pasted it until I had 6 feet worth of ruler, and then I capped it at 5'7" right there, scaled it down. Then I drew up a circular representation of the shield that got me close. I took and scaled the height of this to the height of the reference image, and then same thing with the mace. I sort of scaled this representation of the mace with the width and height of the spiked part of it there. Then I could go in with the ruler that I copied and tell that the mace is about 27 inches tall and that the shield is about 19 inches wide. And from those two dimensions, I can go in and scale them when I print out my blueprints. For drawing my blueprints, I used Inkscape because it's free and it works really, really well. But if you have Adobe Illustrator or CorelDRAW or anything like that that can draw vectors, then you will be fine. This is what the final drawing looked like, and I'm really just sort of tracing the reference image, but also making a lot of decisions that are more functional because animated characters are not functional. They cut a lot of corners to be able to draw it quickly. But basically what I've ended up is I have an image of the front of the shield, the side of the shield, the back of the shield, and the handle. And from that I can figure out what the actual pieces are going to look like. This is the mace, and I took a lot of liberties with the spiked part on the top I know that it's got 3 rows of spikes, each row with 4 spikes on it, and then 1 spike on the top, so that gives me 13 individual spikes. And I sort of combined the animated version with the toy figurine version to come up with the sort of final output sort of thing. I didn't do a front and side and top reference for this one because I can figure everything out from just this one image. Everything is basically cylindrical and symmetrical, so I can kind of figure it out. So that's it. I've got these 2 different blueprints all drawn up, and I'll go to FedEx and have them print them up real big for me so that they are full size, and then from there I can sort of figure out where I need to get all the pieces to make this thing come together. Now that it's all designed, we can go ahead and start sourcing our materials. That'll be in the next episode.